Welcome back to BrainFLoTv again, everybody. It is your host with the most. So, Snoop Dogg has issued a warning to Tekashi 6ix9ine after snitch accusations. So what we have here is a certified snitch calling a OG a snitch. All right, and we're going to talk about this story real quick. We're also going to talk about what Wack 100 had to say to Tekashi 6ix9ine, as well as what Charlemagne the God had to say about this whole situation and Tekashi 6ix9ine himself. So the feud between Tekashi 6ix9ine and Snoop Dogg, we can say, has escalated. 6ix9ine appeared to have implied, he didn't imply, he actually said that Snoop had snitched on Death Row's co-founder, 6ix9ine, who is currently incarcerated. Snoop has become a prominent critic of 6ix9ine and recently called out social media users and publications for portraying the controversial rapper as a positive light after being released from prison to serve the rest of his sentence at home last month. Because you know the whole COVID-19 thing was going down, and they said that he troubles with asthma, so he was at risk. With a lowered immune system, they had to let him do the rest of his time at home because he was non-violent. I don't know how. You're out here ordering hits on people, but you're considered non-violent somehow. Anyhow, on Friday, 6ix9ine, who has said to be that he snitched, posted on Instagram asking his fans if he should reveal which rapper have also snitched. Now, this is 6ix9ine doing his typical trolling thing, because they told me everything when I started, he said, implying that when he came into the rap game, people pulled his coattail and said, hey, Snoop Dogg is a snitch. He snitched on, what's his name that started Death Row, 6ix9ine. And that's why 6ix9ine locked up right now. So after the Shade Room shared a screenshot of the post on Instagram, 6ix9ine commented, at Snoop Dogg, tagged him, her, sir, let's chat. 6ix9ine then left another comment suggesting that Snoop had snitched on 6ix9ine, and he said, you're in denial. The paperwork is online, and 6ix9ine speaks on it from prison, but we choose to ignore who we want to call rats. Now, all I see this is a whole lot of trouble coming his way, and I wish he would pump the brakes, but this is like watching a rainbow-colored runaway train on a track that you know the end of the track is not a station waiting there for it. It's just a steep drop-off of a cliff. And we're waiting to see what madness is going to transpire next. Okay? So he gets on Instagram and he says Snoop Dogg is in denial and that the paperwork is online and that 6ix9ine actually spoke about it from prison. But we, the people, choose to ignore who we want to call a rat. This is just 6ix9ine throwing somebody else under the bus to deflect. But what he's doing right here, he is actually digging himself a hole. And I'm going to tell you about exactly how he's digging this hole and how this could come back to him. Let's not forget, 6ix9ine has, not 6ix9ine, but Snoop, 6ix9ine as well, has never denied that they were a part of gang life and gang culture. Okay? So they are deeply connected, especially out west. But we'll get to that in a minute. So Complex had reported that after denying the claim, Snoop posted a since deleted video telling 6ix9ine to stop talking about him and pointed out in the caption that he and Suge have the same lawyers. He reportedly said, last time you said something, I ain't have time. This was Snoop talking to 6ix9ine. He says, last time you say something, I ain't have time. But today, I got time. You better get the off my line, nigga. Rat boy, you really better leave me alone. I ain't the one. No way. Go on and do your shit and get out of my way, biatch. You funky dog head, rainbow head, dog head, biatch. Yeah, you better leave the dog alone. Go find you a cat. Tom and Jerry shit. F with the dog. Nothing nice. Bitch. Rat boy. And 6ix9ine responded to that by leaving a comment pointing out that Snoop did not deny the alleged existence of the paperwork that apparently proves that he once cooperated with law enforcement, making him a snitch. Cooperating with law enforcement doesn't necessarily make you a snitch. But you see, people like 6ix9ine don't even know what snitch is. Well, he should know now. Snitching is when you and someone else have committed crimes. You got caught and they didn't. You go and tell the police all about them. That's snitching. All up in people's business and reporting to the police. 6ix9ine responded by leaving a comment pointing out that Snoop did not deny the alleged existence of the paperwork. Tekashi had faced life in prison on racketeering and firearms charges, but he secured a lenient sentence after testifying against members of his former gang. Of course, he came out, he released a song called Gooba, which taking the crown away from Eminem's Machine Gun Kelly diss track Kill Shot. He vowed to release further music if his comeback track Gooba hits #1 on the Billboard 100 chart. Earlier this month, a U.S. children's charity also turned down $200,000 in donation money from Tekashi 6ix9ine after stating that his controversial past and his values did not align with their organization. Now, check this out. He's out here trying to do a little bit of work in the community, you know what I'm saying, try to make himself look good and all that other stuff. That's good. He used to give away stuff before, to his credit, before he got caught up. But we don't know if that was all genuine or that was all a part of him painting a certain kind of picture, because if you're going to do for somebody, you do for him without a whole bunch of cameras there. But every time he did a little for anyone, there was always cameras around documenting and him posting it for the world to see. Anyhow, that's not what I'm really talking about. Let's talk about what Wack 100 said. So like I said earlier, Snoop Dogg has never denied being gang affiliated. Everybody knows that Snoop is a well-known, I would say, the most famous Crip in the world. But he has said that over the years he has evolved into someone else. He is now a man that is about grown people things. He is not perfect. He still makes his mistakes, but he is about maturity and he is about bringing peace and love around. So he is no longer banging, but you must understand that he is now considered an OG, and OGs carry many soldiers. So 6ix9ine has to be extremely careful of what he is doing, because these soldiers, they don't need an order. They'll do it off the strength of GP. They will just do it. So right now, I can't help but to think that there are a whole lot of Crips globally that got their eyes on 6ix9ine for that reason and that reason alone, plus all the other stuff that he has done as far as the whole snitching thing. Now, that's getting trouble from the Crip side. He got trouble on the Blood side because he had portrayed himself to be some kind of a gang member of the Bloods, and he actually put away a whole lot of them in prison stopped a whole lot of people meal ticket because they were all getting a whole lot of money. So he's got beef with Bloods and beef with the Crips. That in itself is a death sentence pretty much. Now we got Wack 100 said, Tekashi gotta understand rules. Snoop is an OG. And you're not just going to talk to the OG and address him any which way you please, disrespect the OG, tell lies on the OG, and think that it's going to be all right. Right? And I said my same thing. I said, look, Snoop is legendary in this. So sometimes, even when you are not, even when you're wrong, you might have to just hold that L. Or he could have handled it differently. First time Snoop came for me or mentioned my name in other than favorable comments, reach out to him and let him know, hey man, I respect you as an OG. I know you've been in this game for a long time. At the highest level of this game, you are Snoop Dogg, the legend, right? I respect you fully. I understand my situation and how I'm perceived and how I'm looked at. But just know that I'll never disrespect you though, and just leave it right there. In his position, that's what he was supposed to do. At some point, you got to play humble. Do you notice how he came out? He came out straight from right back into the BS. Right back to the trolling, right back to the disrespecting. Now even more than ever before, to the point where I'm starting to think somebody is probably telling him that he should be acting this way because that is what gets the checks rolling in. Charlemagne the God said it best. Charlemagne said that he just hates the whole situation. This is not good. This cannot be good. And everybody that's boosting him up or egging him on are egging him on and boosting him up to his destruction. He himself have not learned from his past. After being through what he just went through, where you could have actually gotten a life in prison, 70 plus years. And instead of being thankful to whatever source or higher being that intervened and helped you to get out of there, you come back on the same old BS and even worse. So this is not going to end good. He built a whole lot of enemies. There are enemies everywhere for him. And he quoted a Jay-Z verse from a song where Jay said something about, once you snitch, you'll forever be imprisoned, minus the bars. Let that sink in. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. And do you think that 6ix9ine should have just chilled off of the whole Snoop Dogg thing? Leave that alone. I mean, you got to learn how to pick your battles. Or he had every right to be acting the way he's acting and do what he's doing. And I don't want to hear nothing about no old head, because old heads still run the game at the highest levels. It's BrainFLoTv. I'm out. Peace.